Hey, what's good? What's up, everybody? I hope everybody is having a wonderful, wonderful day. You know, it's Ani's world. I'm so happy to be back up here. I have been meaning to make more videos. I just have been busy, and if I'm not busy, I'm tired. So I'm working on it though. I have been on TikTok though. So if you want to find me, oh my goodness, I need to stop moving this phone. If you want to find me on TikTok, it's Ani's World 7, I believe. So today we're gonna be talking about coding and decoding because I did a video on this, but I had to take it down because I can't remember, but I think I accidentally got too specific with my code, so I had to change it. But so we're gonna be talking about decoding and coding to manifest. And decoding is something that can be used on different scales. So sometimes we're decoding like information. Sometimes we're decoding like in I don't know. Yeah, in my decoding and coding video, the agreements that we have subconsciously made. You know what I'm saying? And recoding those. So it's basically like think about like trying to figure out whatever was embedded in you and then like reconstructing it so that you can make it work for you. That is what decoding and coding is. Deconstruction for reconstruction. So I wanted to get up on here today and talk about this because I have actually used actual codes to get me things that I need and that I want. And I'm gonna have to be really careful about the words that I'm using because I don't want to give anybody my code. Hold on, let me just find an example real quick. Um, okay, yep, we'll do that. Okay, so how I did this, you can, so when you want to make a code, right? The best way to use a code is for your password. So keep that in mind. The code that you are going to make up today or whenever you have the time to figure out what your code is going to be, which it's not much like it, there's not much overthinking that goes into the coding part. So when you figure out what you want, so we're gonna start, hi baby, we're gonna start there. You're gonna figure out what you want. What are you making a code for? You can be making a code for love. You could be making code for a house. You can be making a code for money. But you have to figure out why you're creating this code to begin with. And then you want to use something powerful that you're drawn to that lets you know that you're safe or that you're guided. You want to use something that gets you on the right track. For a lot of people, it is the people in our lives that have passed away. For a lot of people, it's their grandmothers, it's their cousins that passed, and they have connections with the dead, and you can work with them, right? So when you create a code, right? You're gonna say you're gonna say like whatever the person is or what it is that motivates you, protects you, and uplifts you, and that will do anything in its power to get you what you want. For some people, that's God, right? So let's say mine would be mermaid. I love mermaids. So let's say mermaid 5 love. So the reason why I chose the number 5 is one, because it has to be something that you resonate with. It's not something that you're supposed to like constantly overthink. So think about like your angel numbers, think about a number that you're drawn to. Like for example, I was always drawn to the number 7 and 11. 7-11 is a very significant, powerful thing in itself. And then 7 is my life path number, and I just didn't know it. So it's also a very strong number. Some is 9 for completion. Everybody's attracted to different numbers and frequencies for different reasons. So mermaids 5 love, right? Because love is what I want. And then, usually passwords make you put like a explanation point or something. Hi. So you will then use this code to unlock every motherfucking thing. Oh, excuse me. I wasn't supposed to talk like that on Ani's World. Sorry. excuse my language. But yeah, you're going to use that to open everything. And this is how I manifested about like 3 places to before I finally got here, which I'll be here for a while. This is comfy. But yeah, this is how I did it. I did it using decoding and coding, and things that I wanted, I would make it my password. A lot of times, I would use my father's name. Um and yeah, I would just get what I want. Like literally, I would just get what I want. Um and it works because you have like it's a conscious thing. It's almost like you're taking a key and opening a door. Like each time that you use a code that you created to manifest what you want, and especially when you use it for passwords, and that's why I specifically say use the code that you create for passwords. We're not just writing this code down in random places. Don't do that. Do not do that. When, like, for example, right, if you, like, when I was before my son was born, I was facing homelessness. So if you are homeless, right, and say you're applying for housing applications, use the code for your housing application. This is how I got housing. I used a housing code. And each time you use this code and for a password and you unlock that code, you're closer to unlocking what you want. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you make it your password for everything, because while you are leveling up and trying to get to where you're trying to get, um oh, thank you. um it it will just, it's just like the magical piece to it. You know what I mean? It's the spelling piece to it, because you're going to get up, you're going to do the work, you're going to do what you have to do, and you're just going to make it easier for yourself by redirecting your mind and stuff like that. So, decoding and coding is one of the most powerful things that you can do to get what you want. I don't care what anybody says. It just worked. I don't like, and here's the thing too. I use my father. So, my relationship with my father, like, I can ask him for a car. You know what I'm saying? If I needed a car, and he's passed, by the way. So if I needed a car, like, I remember I asked my dad for a car for my birthday. I found a beautiful Buick, tinted windows, all white, peanut butter seats, brand new rims. That's just how it goes. So make sure you're using something that resonates with you. Like, some people have mothers who pass, call them. Put that in the code immediately. And then as far as numbers, some people are not sure of, like, some people just don't really resonate with numbers, which most people should. But I think one of the great numbers to put is 7, 9, 11. And then if you have, like, again, if you have a specific, like, angel number, like 444 was my favorite angel number. Some is 111. Use it. Wow. Now, deeper into coding and decoding. Like I said, decoding and coding can be done on smaller and larger scales. So in the book, I mean, not in the book, in my older YouTube video that was literally named Decoding and Coding, we were going over the book, The 4 Agreements, which I still haven't finished. I'm gonna restart it because I finally finished The Alchemist, which I was taking my time with. But we were talking about the 4 agreements, and in this book, we're breaking down from birth the agreements that we subconsciously made that have caused us to be insecure, or feel like we can't do certain things. So, sometimes it's as simple as you, like, some of, like, your first experiences with school, you're bullied. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us are very innocent kids who go to school, and it's like almost like being thrown into the wolves, because everybody lives differently at home. So some people are happy at home, some people are unhappy at home, some people, everybody's just different. So somebody might come up to you and be like, "You're so fucking ugly." And that is, if you agree with that, and that's why I love the book, The 4 Agreements, because that's the most important part. If you agree with that, That will now be your new reality. And it's actually, I want to break this down like on a more simple, like on a larger scale actually, because I actually remember like when people talk about glamour magic and stuff, I always think about Black women, because Black women in the media for so long were portrayed as ugly and undesirable. And I truly feel like for a long time, that was a spell that manifested into reality. You know what I'm saying? Because every image of a Black woman was ugly and undesirable, I believe Black women just tended to manifest that into reality. And I'm not being mean. This is back in the day, but let's be real. We're gonna be real right now. Black women carry themselves and look a lot differently and dress a lot differently than they did back in the day. Um, that's all I'm gonna say. But again, this is because of the agreements and that we didn't even realize we were making. You know what I'm saying? If someone is constantly putting a ugly ass image of you in the media, or constantly saying like derogatory things about your entire like ethnicity and gender, you guys are going to collectively agree with this type of stuff, and it goes into your subconscious makeup. And the reason why, and this is why I'm talking about it on such a large scale, is because this is embedded in your DNA. It goes into your code makeup. So this is why, like, when and don't fucking, you don't gotta, there's no science back up to this. This is just me using my brain and common sense. This is why when you're born, right, you mimic behaviors, correct? You that's how you learn how to do things. That's how you learn how to do the toilet. That's how you learn how to read. That you mimic things. That's how you learn how to speak. That's how you learn how to use your body language and hands. So, this is so like our environment in itself is almost like a code that gets embedded in our DNA, right? Because now this environment that you live in is absolutely a part of your DNA. And this is why they say like trauma can get passed down and passed down and passed down. So agreements can also get passed down and passed down and passed down. And that's why it's important to decode and code so that you can change your DNA makeup. So I guess that was science. I'm a fucking genius. My God, you're fucking smart. No wonder why I'm single. I'm too smart. So, yeah, that is something that I've been learning. And again, this goes back to when I said at one point in time, which I feel like way back in the day before we had a beautiful representation of Black women were ugly, because that was the agreement that we were making. And we didn't realize it. We weren't actually ugly, but the world were putting a spell on us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why at that time it was more easier to look at a Black woman and deem her as unattractive. It was more easier for a Black woman to look at herself and deem herself as unattractive. So why would an unattractive person get dressed like this? You know, why would an unattractive person be doing skincare? Why would an unattractive person be meditating and doing glamour magic? Exactly. But sadly, other races of women were doing this thing. It was normalized because they were painted as beautiful in the media. And when the things that come with the aesthetic of beauty is self-care, maintenance, self-love, most importantly, right? And this is why even when we talk, and I'm not just saying what Black women, I just think Black women are a huge example of how at one point we were deemed as like totally unattractive to be like one of the most beautiful women on earth right now. People are getting Botox to get cheekbones. They're getting fillers for their lips. Some people are honestly making their noses look more noticeable. Let's be real. So, you know, yeah, so now I also wanted to talk about, and this is again, we're talking about decoding and coding still, because this shit is embedded in your DNA. And that's my whole point about this. So think about it, right? I remember like even in school, and again, I'm just gonna stay focused on this topic a little bit longer just so I can piece it together for y'all. Even in school, who was some of the examples of a Black woman that we've seen? What was the most famous example of a Black woman that we've seen? Harriet Tubman. So you get what I'm saying? Like, that's why we look different back in the day, because they were manipulating our DNA by calling us ugly and passing that down from generation to generation to generation to generation. that that is how that works. Just same way, right? That white people acted more superior because in the media they were constantly pushed as pure, as righteous, and a lot of times we associate white with purity. So although these people were the most unpure things on earth, you know what I'm saying, the power of coding someone's DNA through propaganda, through environment, is is how that happened. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't want to be up on here too long. I just wanted to really get this embedded in your head, how important coding and decoding is, down to the simple agreements that you make, because it's making up your DNA. It is. It's absolutely making up. Like, I don't even know how to explain. I wish I could explain it better. Um, I'm trying to think of a better way, but that's the best way I can say it. It's oh, think about it as particles, right? So you know how they say particle make up what? So think about the agreements that you make and the things that you decide to accept into your physical. Think of it as little particles that are making up something, right? And you don't want to be filled up with shitty particles, you know what I'm saying? So again, decoding and coding is one of the best things that you can do. I'm trying to think of another thing that I did, but I think one of the most famous, like the one that worked the most, that was the strongest, was the password decoding and decoding that I told you guys about. I'm just trying to make sure that I got it. Oh yeah, another way that I um decode things out of my brain and code in something new is by using sticky notes, right? And this is for someone who is probably new. I'm not as new now. I can just use aesthetically pleasing things and that's enough. But when I was new, I would like, say I know, like, this is my vanity. I know I'm going to be up here every day. I'm going to put on this vanity: I love myself. I'm so beautiful. And that's just like, it's not even something that you have to read. You know what I'm saying? It just, like, it's called a subliminal message. You can give yourself subliminal messages. You know what I'm saying? So, subliminal message is like one of the beautiful ways I love to, you know, change my makeup that's going on in my body, like what's going on in here. Yeah, I think that's all I have. I don't really want to ramble too much more. Whew, y'all, I hope everybody is um at their highest vibration, because I'm not gonna ever be one of those creators that ignore things that go on in the world. And I also just want to break down what's going on in the world real quick right now, because I don't want people to be sucked into negative energy. Like, I really don't. And I understand, trust me, I fully understand, like, the state of the world makes it really hard to want to be positive right now, but that's exactly like what they're betting on. And most importantly, take time off of your phone, because I wanted to bring this up. Like, you know, here in Boston, they have been doing a lot of ICE propaganda. And my main thing about it is, like, nobody around me has seen ICE. I made a post. Not one person commented on the post. I have over 1K people on Facebook, over 2,000 people on Instagram. I didn't see nobody at a protest, although this protest was huge and on the news, supposedly. But everybody that I know is not even willing to skip out on a day of work to go on a protest. So understand that a lot of the things that you're seeing is fear mongering, and also understand that they are betting on you, um, to partake in this meta warfare that's going on. Because I also want to describe, like, and I'm not going to say the name because I'm not giving it power, but these Steam files, this is I don't even know how to explain this. Like, why, like, this should be common sense. If people truly were being exposed, they're not gonna put a title like it's a movie or a book. And I also wanted to point out to the fact that these politics and celebrities have been telling y'all that they are going broke. So when you see all these documentaries coming out, and people being exposed, Tyra Banks is about to have a show on Netflix right now to expose how horrible she was on America's Next Top Model. 50% just exposed Diddy. They also exposed Bad Bunny on there if you caught that drift. um, yeah, like this is money grabs. Like think about it right now. Like I do not encourage anybody to watch Zeus or pay for Zeus, but clips are everywhere. You can watch it for free online, to be honest. Think about how even on Zeus they're exposing themselves. They're like money is a scarcity right now for a lot of people. You feel me? Like Tahaji was literally just saying she was underpaid. You know what I'm saying? Then went and did a movie with Tyler Perry. So we already know his allegations. So he's not even good at paying, but because the industry is really not paying in general, Tyler Perry is paying more than the industry. So that like you gotta understand like when it's like why like should I even be watching this? I don't think it's appropriate for us to find entertainment in the things that they're describing because they're not just describing trafficking. They're describing I don't know if I can say the word cannibalism with a C at the beginning. Of course, grape. Um, they're even exposing some of the cloning that's been going on. So I don't know why people want to read something like that. Like it's not a book, babe. It's real life. But um, energy harvesting is big right now. Is all I'm gonna say. And the best thing that you can do is stop giving it an emotional reaction for one, get off your phone and go out into the world because as like they're working overtime on social media to make people scared, but in real life people don't care. And the reason why people don't care is because in real life they're not truly being affected. They're not being directly infected, but they're trying to make it seem like they are or make them feel like they are. So just remember that. Um, and also know that, like, small content creators like me are becoming more of a big thing. So they have every reason to want to do things like buy TikTok. America has a full reason to want to buy TikTok with content creators becoming so popular on there. And that's a reason why you'll hear a lot of celebrities say, I hate content creators. I hate TikTok. The singers hate TikTok. And we think it's because we're turning their song into funny little dances. They don't care about that. They're trying to get their money. And we should have knew that just by the way that they move and, the stupid stuff that they do to get this money. But yeah, no, they did that to try to push away the smaller creators that were taking away their shine ultimately. So I think you'll notice a lot more that your feed will be kind of manipulated and geared towards them. And that's why I just want to make it very clear, please, like especially like with the ice videos, like please stop watching it because almost all of it is staged. And I know it's sad to say, but the world is a stage. Like the politics aren't even real. The government's not real. The celebrities are staged. Everything that you see is fake. So like your best bet is to watch real people. um and use that discernment. And most importantly, like, you know, be the hero in the story. You know what I mean? Like, don't be a loser and a follower. Don't don't do the easy thing, That's so boring. Like, definitely take those risks and put yourself out there and live in the the utmost purest image of God. You know what I'm saying? Like the true love of God. Live in that, embody that into yourself, into your life. And also keep boundaries, and also know that the only real people are the chosen ones. Anybody who's not a chosen one is not motherfucking real. And I'll tell you why. It's because you can just consider them a bot. They're not going to have any organic thoughts. They're not going to have organic energy. They're going to be consumers and not creators. And that's okay. So that's why boundaries are important when you're a chosen one, because, you know, we're living in a world with people whose genetic makeup has been altered. Let's really think about that. And we're also living in a world where we're literally going through spiritual warfare. And, you know, like when people talk about spiritual warfare, I need people to understand like the physical of it. And also understand, this is one thing that I have learned. They cannot control your energy. They can manipulate it, but they cannot control your energy. You have to be a strong-willed person, because nobody can control your energy. That's why they have music and food and vaccines, and they spray stuff in the skies, and they do the weather controlling. That's to manipulate your frequency. They cannot just control your frequency. If they could, they would. You know what I'm saying? Like people people are out here making free will decisions. But yeah, so sorry for the spiritual warfare, just so you guys understand what's going on. Look, so when you go outside, I want you to look out on the streets and look up. The wires, the boxes, all these wires. Then look down and you'll see all these silver boxes. You go to the park, they'll be green. You go to the church, they'll be green. You walk on the street, they'll be silver. This is spiritual warfare. Like, like for example, and this is why I told you guys in my last video, like when COVID-19 came out, that was a frequency. Just like when influenza came out, that was from them putting up towers. You know what I'm saying? So this is spiritual warfare. And COVID-19 was a frequency, and that's why we're raising our frequencies to survive. To survive. Lately, I have been a little bit more tired, but usually when the sun is out more, when they stop blocking the sun, I'll be able to fully create my own reality right now. But as of recently, I have just been, well, still creating my own reality, like taking care of myself and stuff, but I also have been relaxing a lot more. Definitely think about that. Think about rest. Think about your well-being. Um, but also don't be lazy. Take care of yourself, take care of your responsibilities, but rest and don't stress yourself out. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to impulsively follow your dreams. I don't want you to just follow your dreams. I want you to be very impulsive about it. I want you to do things that you feel embarrassed to do. You know what I'm saying? To I want all of us to just excel, honestly. And also know that we're living through one of the most roughest times. Um, but we are still prevailing. The truth is still prevailing, and that's also why it's so good to embody that love of God and just love in general, because love is God. Because you know, the truth prevails. The truth prevails. So that's why it's really good to just level up, focus on yourself, stay positive, stay well rested, stay healthy, so that so you can continue to grow and just focus on yourself and do your own thing. I hope everybody has an amazing, beautiful day. I appreciate the one person who stayed in here and watched. Love is love. I appreciate you so much. And everybody who keeps coming in and out and saying hi, some staying, some coming back. I appreciate you all for watching this video. This is Ani's World. I hope you guys really enjoy the coding method that I gave you. And I'm sorry that I deleted it, but it's back again. Everybody, mwah.